Hi everyone. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the governing of steam turbine. This is Manoj JK from Ropini College of Engineering and Technology presenting the lecture. So before entering into this session, we need to know what is turbine, why the governing mechanism is required. The turbine is a mechanical energy or mechanical work producing device where in case of power plant the steam is generated from the boiler and it flows to the turbine, where the kinetic energy of the steam is converted to mechanical energy by the rotation of the turbine shaft. So, therefore, it is mandatory, it is important to control and maintain the speed of the turbine because the steam production rate is according to the type of boiler. Sometimes the variation in the production of steam, there will be a abnormal or a varying load condition will occur. At that time, the quantity of steam entering into the turbine may increase or decrease according to the rate of steam produced or generated. So therefore, due to the fluctuated load, the turbine cannot produce mechanical work properly. It affects the entire operation. So to prevent such a drawback, we are having a mechanism called governing mechanism, which is used to maintain the speed of the turbine, or the governing mechanism is used to control the turbine, steam turbine. So now we are going to look at that elaborately. Governing. Governing of steam turbine, as we discussed, maintaining the turbine speed constant irrespective of load. Already we have discussed turbine faces very different, that means abnormal loads in various time irrespective to the, that is irrespective to the load. Suppose the load may vary, load may get increased or decreased according to the production of steam. So whatever the steam rate, the turbine maintains its speed as constant. This job is done by the device called as a governor. So simply we can say governor. Governor is a device which is used to maintain and control the speed of the turbine. So there are three major different types of nozzle. One is a throttle governing, another one is a nozzle governing, and third is a bypass governing. Likewise, there are three types of governing of steam turbine available that we can see one by one. First of all, we are going to discuss about the throttle governing. So there are two different mechanisms. Both the mechanism I have shown here. Look at the diagram. Look at the first diagram. Here, there is a fly ball on the top of the diagram. Bottom, we have a sleeve which is connected to the main valve. The rod from the sleeve is connected to the main valve through the fulcrum. So therefore, some seesaw movement will occur, and the line is connected with the inlet of the turbine. So we can see the arrangement. Look at the main valve. There is a valve seat. So due to the movement of the due to the movement of the lever by the fulcrum, the valve seat may closes or opens the inlet of the turbine. So therefore, any movement of the sleeve can open and closes the valve. So let's see the fly ball. Fly ball is nothing but a fly ball having some weight, dead weight ball. So when the turbine rotates faster, the fly balls move upwards. Suppose if the load increases, if the load to the turbine is increases, so automatically we can look at one example. Everyone using automobile vehicle. When the load of the vehicle increases, what about the efficiency of the engine? What is the pulling capability of the engine? Considerably it is reduced because for any application, any mechanical application, when load increases, automatically the speed of such a device or a engine or a turbine is reduced. So here also the same thing, when the load to the turbine is increased, therefore the speed of the turbine may get reduced. So therefore the constant speed will not be maintained. If the load is high, the turbine runs slower. If load is low, the turbine can run faster. This abnormal situation will not give a better efficient result. So therefore we need a mechanism to control or to maintain the turbine as constant. So therefore we are having an arrangement that's shown in the slide. Look at, there is a fly ball. When the turbine rotates faster, the turbine is connected with the fly balls. That means a fly ball through the rod, and which is coupled with the bevel gear mechanism. Therefore, the right angle movement will be there. So when the turbine moves or rotates faster, at the same time, the fly balls also rotates continually. Fly ball is having more weight. So therefore, when turbine rotates, the ball automatically swings and moves upwards. At that time, the sleeve attached with the ball is lifts. But due to the fulcrum action, if the sleeve moves upwards, means the sleeve, look at the lever goes down. That means the main valve seat goes down and seat in the, therefore the reduced steam flow may occur. I am repeating this once again. When turbine moves or rotates faster, with the turbine through the bevel gear, the main rod which is hanging the fly balls also rotates the same speed. So therefore the fly ball also get lifted. So although it is attached with the sleeve moves upwards. So due to the fulcrum action, the sleeve moves upwards, and therefore the valve seat moves downwards and closes the main valve. So therefore the flow rate to the turbine is considerably reduced and the speed is maintained. Suppose if the flow rate is very much lower, therefore the load is very less. What will happen? When the turbine rotates slower, at the same time the fly balls comes to the down position. Although due to the fulcrum action, the valve moves upwards from the valve seat. Therefore, more amount of steam enters into the turbine and tends to rotate the turbine so more faster, and the speed has controlled or maintained. This is one of the kind of throttle governing. Here we are using valve and valve seat to control and maintain the speed of the turbine and also to maintain the flow rate to the turbine from the boiler. Look at the next case. So this is also a throttle governing. In this case, we are using piston cylinder assembly. The remaining everything is same as the previous one. There is a sleeve, there is a flight ball that is a dead weight. There is a centrifugal governor, the lever, and everything is there, and the fulcrum. But instead of the valve and valve seat, there is a piston cylinder assembly, and the control of the nozzle and control of the flow rate is by the nozzle. Right? Now, when the turbine rotates, which is connected to the uh, governor, when it rotates faster, the flywheel moves the fly ball moves upwards. Therefore, it lifts the sleeve. Therefore, it pushes the piston at bottom side towards the bottom side because of the fulcrum action. Therefore, the oil in the sun, it reached to the middle of the piston. So therefore, the amount of steam flowing towards the turbine has controlled or reduced. So how the action by the spear that is shown in the diagram, there is a spear at the mouth of the nozzle. You can look out the construction. When the turbine rotates faster, the fly balls also rotates faster and it lifts the sleeve. Although the action of the fulcrum, the piston moves downwards and therefore oil from the oil sun escapes through valve V1 and reaches the point A and then pushes the piston forward. So therefore it closes the mouth of the nozzle. Therefore the control of flow rate taken place. When the speed of the turbine decreases, the fly ball, due to its dead weight, due to the gravitational action, it comes down and it pushes the sleeve downwards. Due to the fulcrum action, the piston moves upwards. Therefore, it fills through the second pipe. The oil flows through the second pipe. From the oil sun, the oil is supplied. From the oil sun, oil is supplied through the pump. And there are two return valves are there from both the ends of the piston. Here we are using the double acting piston cylinder assembly, and through the pump the oil is supplied. And the secondary case, when this turbine rotates slower, therefore the balls comes down and pushes the sleeve downwards. Due to the fulcrum action, the piston moves upwards. So therefore, the oil, so consider the first one as V1 and first pipe as V1 and second pipe as V2. Now it flows through the valve V1 and fills in the area of B, point B. Therefore, it pushes the piston in reverse direction. Therefore, spear near the mouth of the nozzle released. More amount of steam flows through the nozzle and the speed has been regulated or maintained. So once again we look out, when speed increases, when the speed of the turbine increases, the fly ball moves upwards and it moves the sleeve upwards. Due to the fulcrum action, it pushes the piston bottomwards. Therefore, it flows through the oil flows through the valve V2 and it fills the area A, that is a point A, and pushes the piston forward, and the spear closes the nozzle mouth and lesser amount of nozzle is supplied for a reduction of turbine speed, and it would be maintained. Then if the speed drops, the fly ball comes down and releases the sleeve towards the bottom. Due to the fulcrum action, the piston moves to its original position or upwards. Now the valve V1 is open and the oil is flows through the V1 passage and fills to the point B, where it pushes the piston reverse direction. Therefore, the sphere at the mouth of the nozzle released and more amount of steam enters to the turbine and the speed may maintained. These are all the two types of nozzle governing. And then next up we are going to discuss the nozzle governing. The throttle governing, as we have discussed, whatever we have discussed is there. And the second type is the nozzle governing. Nozzle governing, when you are looking at the diagram, there are three sets of nozzle. Well, the sets of nozzle in the sense 3 to 5, most probably more than that. Here we have three set of nozzle arranged in the circular rotor area. These three sets of nozzle is connected with the valves in the steam tank. So listen, the first nozzle set is connected with the steam line, and the second nozzle also connected to the steam line, and third nozzle also connected to the steam line with the valves, with the separate valves. Each of the nozzle passages of each of the nozzle pipes, the pipes going from the steam drum to the nozzle, having a separate valves to close and open. Here, the steam enters in a steam tank. If all the valves are in open condition, all the three pipes, the steam flows through all the three pipes and rotates the turbine rotor. When the load, when the load is decreased, we can shut down one valve. So therefore, when we shut down the valve, what will happen? The steam will not flow through the passage, and through that specific nozzle, no steam will be supplied. So therefore, the kinetic energy of the steam from the nozzle is reduced. That means we are having three sets of nozzle supplying the steam. So suppose if we want to maintain the rotating speed, hence we are closing a single or multiple valve. So therefore, from three sets of nozzle, we obtained the kinetic energy, and it becomes a mechanical energy through the turbine rotor. Now we are closing one set of nozzle, which is having three or more nozzles. Now the kinetic energy given to the turbine is comparatively less. Therefore, the speed of the turbine gets reduced. Here, I've given all the details of nozzle governing. In this nozzle, as I already mentioned, 3 to 5 or more group of nozzle will be there, which supplies the steam. The arc of admission is limited to 180 degree. That is very, very important. The arc of admission, in the sense, the limit of the nozzle is how to fill up to 180 degree alone, 180 or less. So more than 180 degree, it is not possible to run in a right path. This nozzle is controlled governing is restricted to the first stage of the turbine. That's a very important point. We have to look out in this type of nozzle. It is suitable for the simple turbine and for larger units which have an impulse stage followed by an impulse reaction turbine. Then next, in nozzle governing, The flow rate of steam is regulated by opening and shutting of sets of nozzle. As we have discussed, when we open all the valves, all the three sets of nozzle supplies the steam to the turbine rotor. It tends to rotate the turbine. So imagine the load is applied, otherwise the force or the kinetic energy is applied from one side, one direction. It will give, assume, some 20 to 25 percentage of power. Suppose if two or more, two or more kinetic energy is given to the turbine rotor, the speed of the turbine gets automatically increases. Here we are controlling the speed of the nozzle by opening or shutting down the individual sets of nozzle. The actuation of individual valve closes the corresponding set of nozzle, thereby controlling the flow rate. In a real case, the nozzle governing is applied only to the first stage, whereas the subsequent stages remain unaffected. Because since there is no regulation to the pressure, the advantage of this method lies in the exploitation of full boiler pressure and temperature. So one of the main thing we have to remember in this is the main highlight or the advantage of this type of governing mechanism. So at last we are going to discuss the bypass governing. Very very simple bypass governing. Consider there is a multi-stage turbine. Bypass governing is not suitable for a single stage. If the multi-stage for the multi-stage turbine alone, the bypass governing will be eligible or suitable. Therefore, we are having two different stages: first stage and second stage of the turbine. First stage there is a rotor, and second stage and there is a rotor. Consider the rotor number 1 and rotor number 2. So always steam will pass through the first stage and then to the second stage. Suppose if it is having a more stages, multiple stages, say 3 stages, therefore orderly it comes to first stage, then second stage, after that only it goes to third stage. Suppose if the speed of the turbine falls down, we are bypassing the steam directly to the final stage of the turbine. So therefore final stage of the turbine getting high velocity steam, that's a high kinetic energy steam, and which converts the mechanical energy directly. So therefore this is bypassing, this is called bypassing. The normal concern, the steam, the kinetic energy of the steam hits the turbine, the first stage turbine rotor, then it moves to the second stage and then the later on stages. Here, when we require to control or maintain the speed of the turbine, we are bypassing the steam to the later stage, that is the last stage. Therefore, the steam is directly goes to the last stage and hits the turbine and gives all its velocity, that's a kinetic energy, and it converted to mechanical energy at the later stages. So by such a way alone, the bypass governing works. As shown in the diagram, there is a bypass passage at the top and bottom that is shown. Here, totally we are having a 5 stages as shown, and first set, the shaded regions or the shaded regions are said to be considered as a rotor, and now then as normal procedure the steam is enters to the inlet of the turbine and it moves towards the first stage. After running the first stage it goes to the second stage and orderly it will go at the end and then exhaust. But in case of bypass turbine, bypass governing, we are having a separate bypass steam passage. Suppose in case if we require the bypass valve is open and the steam is directly goes to the later stage or last stage of the turbine and it directly rotates the final stage of the turbine and the speed will be controlled or maintained. These are all the important governing mechanism used in the turbine to control and maintain the speed of the steam turbine. Hope you understand all the things I have explained.